Hi, I'm Dr. Nikita and welcome to Therapy-ish, which is a private practice of myself and also a podcast. Today I have a very, very exciting guest with me. We go way, way, way back.
Way back.
How many years?
At least 12, but it must be, I think it's
Almost
like
13
13
years.
or 14.
Almost 13 years.
Wow.
My lovely guest is a therapist who works with individuals and couples to overcome internal challenges that we face. She has a particular interest in supporting people through pregnancy loss, OCD, general feelings of self-criticism and shame. Outside of work, you will find her singing, laughing, and sharing her faith. Welcome, Zoe.
And teasing people.
And teasing people. Goodness, recently a video that should not have surfaced
Good times.
that she took of me years ago
Wonderful times.
and has not yet been forgiven for. How you doing?
I am so happy to be here. It's so nice. I was just saying that I never thought 12, 13 years later we'd be here doing a similar job on your podcast. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm very happy to be here.
Amazing. Good to have you. So to warm us up, we've got some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Yes, we do. Let me get
This wasn't
comfortable.
on the brief. Okay.
It was. You didn't read the small print.
Don't mind me. Proceed.
Okay. What's a habit that you're trying to build at the moment?
I'm actually trying to build the habit of doing things. So what I mean by that is I can plan
Yeah.
and I can have a list of all the different steps I need to achieve something. But the actual doing of it is something that I can really procrastinate with. So I guess, yeah, one of my focuses for this year is action. It's not even about specific things. It's just doing things as opposed to thinking about doing things or planning to do things or speaking about doing things. Yeah.
To do.
Yeah, to act.
What's on the agenda for this year?
No, I'm joking. To be fair, some of them I've ticked off already.
Okay.
Yeah, like setting up my private practice. It's on the list for a long time. It's actually done now.
Amazing.
There's other things in relation to developing my singing voice and just other things like that, which is more like looking at actions I need to take. So yeah.
Amazing. Exciting. What is something that you are irrationally bad at?
Oh, that's a shock.
Yes, it is.
That question has some corners. Irrationally bad. Being on time.
Okay.
And it's actually not funny. I can really try.
Does this apply to work?
You're asking too many questions. But I'm on time for my clients.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Mostly.
Yeah. For my clients, I'm on time.
Okay.
But generally,
It's difficult, isn't it?
it's a tussle.
Yeah.
And it is irrational.
Yeah.
I can have time, but I think the way I perceive time is not how time actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, yeah.
Okay. Are you a planner or are you a wing it person?
I'm actually a wing it person. I think it's partly because I was speaking about procrastination. I can procrastinate planning.
Yeah.
And then I can plan, but then procrastinate with the doing. But there's some things that just have to be done anyway. So by the time I start, it's because I winged it, not because I was following the plan.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So like my dissertation, I did it in like 12 days. And I had so much time.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I just ended up just doing it. But generally, I'm more comfortable winging it because I think it's kind of a typical thing of like, you need like pressure to get things done.
Yes.
I think the pressure of like, well, we're here now. There's nothing else you can
Might
do.
as well get done.
Yeah, it just means like all the, what if it's disappeared because we're here now.
Yeah.
And there's quite a sense of confidence that in the moment things will work out, which adds to procrastination, which is not good. But yeah, so definitely a winger.
Fascinating. What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh. I was going to say chocolate, but that's not true. That just feels like something someone should say.
Oh, right.
What is my guilty pleasure? Waterloo Road.
Are you kidding?
I have restarted
In this day and age.
scratch. I restarted it like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, this is a fantastic show.
Wow.
And I'm really watching it. Like when I'm doing something that's like quite boring, and I need something to watch a Waterloo Road.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank God
and I'm
for
even proud
iPlayer.
of that one. Yeah.
So it's not guilty, it's just a pleasure. Okay.
Brilliant show.
Okay. And final question. What's
Mm-hmm.
your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh. These are good questions, by the way. You said, I know. She said I'm a therapist. I know. That's my art. Biggest pet peeve. Nikita, people coughing with their mouth like this. I don't understand it. Like on the train and stuff like that. I'm quite a non-confrontational person. I don't like conflict, but I have like most of my times that I've initiated conflict in my life have been on the train because someone's coughing.
What do you say?
So by conflict, people when I say conflict, I mean confrontation.
Okay.
So saying, "Excuse me, can you cover your mouth?"
Oh, is that what you say?
I'm so sorry. I can't. I just don't understand like the lack of awareness of like other people.
I think it was very felt in COVID.
Tears in my eyes. Just
what are you doing?
But do you know what's really bad? When you're the person.
Yeah.
And you can't, obviously, hopefully we're covering our mouths, but when you have an uncontrollable cough and you're trying to swallow it on the train, but it's just coming out. And then I feel so bad because I feel like everyone's running away from me.
Yeah.
But I'm like, sorry guys, I'm trying to hold it in, and the more you hold it in, the worse it comes out. So yeah, that makes me try to be more compassionate to people who.
Gracious. Okay.
Everyone should still cover their mouths, but yeah, that's definitely a pet peeve.
Absolutely. Okay, fascinating. Okay, so now that we've warmed up,
Yeah.
let's get into the meat of things.
Into the crux of the matter.
All right.
Let's go.
So tell us about your work. What do you do? And how did you end up in this line of work? I don't think I've ever asked you that
Great question
before.
because I didn't start here. So I think I don't really have like a long-term career plan or anything like that. And I didn't really know what I wanted to be. I was a bit indifferent towards that. But then I was working in a school as a teaching assistant, and then I don't specifically remember who it was or what their role was, but something was brought up about like counting skills, like a staff day or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, counseling skills. Like if I'm a teacher one day, that would make me a better teacher. So then I went for a counseling skills course. And then while I was there, I was like, how have I never, like, how's it never crossed my mind to do therapy or counseling? Felt so like
a good fit.
Good fit. And then from there, I suddenly became ambitious, which I didn't really feel connected to that trait before. But then it was very much about, that's one thing I can be very systematic about actually in terms of this career or getting to where I am now, was very much like, okay, these are all the steps over the years that I'm going to have to take and having to take them. But yeah, so it was kind of like it was a very much like click moment where I was like, ding, 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 how have I never thought about this? And then just, took all the different steps. I was a PWP first.
What's a PWP for those who don't know?
It's a psychological wellbeing practitioner. So we work in talking therapy services, like the NHS ones. And it's quite a short intervention that we offer. It's kind of like a coach, like a wellbeing coach. And then that was like my route into further training. And so many things in between then and now, basically. Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. Really, really interesting. What might a typical day look like for you then?
Oh, okay. So, well, I have two different roles. So in terms of therapy, it would be seeing maybe, depends on the day, but seeing like 3 or 4 people in a day. They might have different difficulties or might be doing different types of therapy. And then often have like a block of admin time. I'm writing up notes and things like that. Sometimes I've got like supervision meetings with people, like just general chatting to colleagues. So yes, kind of mixing up on the day. And then the other days, I do that 3 days a week. The other 2 days I'm teaching on the course actually that I started on the PWP course at UCL. So that's really, I really enjoy that as well. And that's literally teaching.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And marking as
really
well?
enjoy that. Teaching, the marking part's not so fun. But
yeah,
I know. But it is, I like it. I really like developing like future therapists, I guess, because it was one of those like full circle moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I was really on the other side. And it's really, I love that. I really love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you shared with me that your special interest is compassion.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. what is compassion and why do you think people find it so challenging?
So yeah, I think what I mean by compassion is it's essentially acknowledging suffering and acknowledging suffering with the intention to do something about it or the intention to alleviate it and then actually taking the steps to alleviate it. That's mainly what I mean when I speak about compassion, at least in the context of work. I think there's a lot of crossover with like kindness and things like that, but I'm really interested in like how in difficulties that people have with self-compassion. So I kind of think about there's compassion to others, compassion from others, like receiving from others, and then there's like self-to-self compassion. I'm particularly interested in the kind of self-to-self. And I think, I think part of why I'm interested in it is because I've seen how much people struggle with it.
Yeah.
And I think that struggle is added, it's an added, people are often critical, self-critical of the issues that they have. So let's say someone's depressed, like they're already depressed. Now on top of the depression, they're self-critical for being depressed. And I just find that it's this added layer of distress that actually maintains the initial problem. I think that's what's drew me to be interested in it. And I think, I guess part of why people find it so hard is they might not have experienced, a lot of compassion growing up, so they might not know how to show it to themselves if they've not really received it. But I think even when people are able to receive compassion from others, there might be a lot of fears or stigmas around being kind to yourself. It's a phrase that we hear, but I think people can feel like, okay, is that letting myself off the hook? What if I'm not productive anymore because I'm too kind to myself?
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm honest, I think a big reason that people might be like averse to self-compassion is because I think in some ways it can be easier to be angry and critical at yourself than to just be angry at other people. And I think sometimes people are, I do think people can be scared of, if you're blaming yourself for something that wasn't your fault, which is a classic way that I see self-criticism and a lack of self-compassion coming up, in you
Blaming
maybe
yourself.
accepting, or on the other side, if you doing work in therapy, accepting that it wasn't your fault, it's someone's fault, whose fault is it? And I think a lot of people are scared of being angry, because if I don't blame myself, who am I going to blame? And sadly, there often is someone to blame, and that is too threatening, so it's easier to just internalize it. I think that's something I think is a big block maybe to self-compassion.
Interesting. I often wonder if there's a cultural element to it as well. I feel like 90% of my clients roll their eyes at me when I start mentioning self-compassion. It's like, oh, here
we go.
Here she goes.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's something about, I guess, not having space, or it not being necessarily always encouraged to have that self-focus or compassionate focus towards self in Black culture, that I don't know, or if people think that they're being soft, or I don't know.
I do wonder. I do think it's like, I think it can also be seen as a very white thing, like everything's too gently and too like soft, and I don't know, I think there's something that can be, people have different views in like Western culture and the benefits and pros and cons or whatever else, but I think there's a large story, I suppose, around things being too soft, people not being able to take like the realities of life, harshness, survival, which comes with criticism and reality. And I think the idea, it almost feels like there's something disingenuine about self-compassion, like you're having to gloss over things or ignore things or not address reality in a way that makes you like too soft or too sensitive. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. And so I think that people can be adverse to that. Like,
but I guess the flip side is it's not working. Like, lacking the self-compassion is not really working out for you very much.
Or sometimes, because sometimes I do look at like, what are the pros and cons for this person? And it's like, sometimes it's working, but it's working in a way. Like it might be that you being really, it's functioning. Like you being really horrible to yourself might mean that you do get these grades. But it also means that you're depressed. It's almost like, what is the cost? And for some people,
they're willing.
They're willing to say, do you know what? I'm happy to, not happy. That's not true. But more so, I would prefer the depression that I know than the anger that I don't know, or then the potential failure that might come if I'm less harsh on myself, you know. So I think it's quite costly to be compassionate to yourself. It can cost a lot.
Fear of the unknown is what I'm hearing.
It's a big one.
Control.
Control.
Or the illusion of control. Over our lives.
It can be very like scary, I reckon.
At the cost of ourselves as well.
Life.
I know,
humans.
Right? Humans.
We're a very interesting bunch.
Is compassion and forgiveness the same in your view?
No, I think I see them quite differently, but I think there's a big overlap.
Okay.
So I think compassion is required for forgiveness. Yeah, I think compassion is required for forgiveness. Is that the right way around? Hold on. Yeah, I think compassion, in order to forgive someone, you have to have compassion.
Yeah, or even to forgive
yourself.
yourself.
Or to forgive yourself. But I don't think they're the same thing, because compassion might not always have to do with something wrong. It might not always have to do with someone doing something wrong. Whereas I think forgiveness is about like
being wronged.
There's something wrong. Yeah, you've been wronged, or you've wronged yourself, or you've wronged someone else, and you need to experience forgiveness either from yourself or from that person. Whereas compassion is not always about wrong, it's about suffering and acknowledging that. I think that's what people can find difficult, acknowledging that I have suffered, this hurts, this wasn't fair, this wasn't supposed to happen, this wasn't nice, and it's not my fault. I think that's really hard to tolerate for a lot of people. But I think, of course, if you block the compassion, then the forgiveness could be blocked as well. Yeah. And I think it could be blocked on two sides. I think you can either say, you can either not forgive yourself or others because there's no compassion, because you can't access that compassion, or because you're trying to be compassionate, you are not acknowledging, in your attempts to be compassionate or your attempts to be forgiving, you're not acknowledging that wrong has been done. And that also blocks forgiveness, because to forgive, you have to acknowledge what needs to be forgiven. I think when you try to miss that step, it's probably just a lot of shame and resentment. Yeah.
Your use of the word suffering, even how you say it, I love it.
How do I say it?
It's like suffering. These are really heavy words. We don't even use it very often. They are really heavy words, and sometimes I wonder if you feel the same. But sometimes I feel like my clients hate me. I say this, you hate me, don't you? All the time.
Yeah,
because I feel like I'm exposing people to some really heavy stuff. Heavy stuff, unpleasant stuff, stuff that people may have spent their lives running away from. And I guess in some ways, almost like if someone is wounded but running around doing life as usual, and I'm like, no, wait, sit down.
Something's
look,
wrong.
you've got to. And you know, sometimes when you don't look at it, you don't feel the pain, and so sometimes I feel like I'm joking, sometimes I feel like my clients, you don't hate me. Sometimes I feel like they hate me because I'm causing them to do that pause and looking work, and I wonder if you feel the same. And also, like, what's the remedy? Like, we're saying, oh, have compassion on yourself. You're saying, I'm giving you permission to have and express your feelings, to feel angry, to feel upset, to acknowledge where blame might sit outside of yourself. Is it a downward spiral? Is it a pit? Where are we going next? What happens?
What next?
Yeah,
I think that's a great question. I think that the unknown about that could be part of the block as well. There were two questions there. Sorry, you said, do I feel that some of my clients hate me? Yes. And I also joke with them, I'm like, you're going to hate me for this.
Yeah.
And also I've been on the other side of being in therapy, and feeling like really squinting at my therapist, like, why do you want me to go here? What do you want me to think about this? You're trying to unpick my brain, you know?
Yeah.
I was a very defensive client.
Oh.
Yeah, interesting. Sorry. But I think, I think it's really, I think that's also a compassionate thing to do, to acknowledge someone suffering for them and to look at it for them and say, like, let's be brave and look at it together.
Yeah.
I think that is an act of compassion. So often, even someone being in therapy, even when they're resisting a sense of compassion, you are doing something there that's already in the step towards relieving your own suffering. But sorry, what was you asked?
I asked if it's a downward spiral.
Oh yeah, like what now? Like where does it lead to? Do you know what it can be? I think it can be, depending on how it's done. I think that's not the goal, for it to be a downward spiral. I think essentially what the aim of self-compassion is not to turn things from negative to positive or to make something anything that it's not. It's actually about accepting reality in a way, and then finding out how to live in the reality. Because often, and that's often about building rather than like tearing things down. I think part of what I mean by that is, when someone in a case, let's say a case where somebody has to acknowledge or is being encouraged or working towards acknowledging blame outside of themselves, that is going to come with anger, and therapy holds the space for that anger and gives permission and license for the anger. But also the idea is that this person is now free to ask the question, like, what do I want to do with this information? What relationships do I want to have with this person?
Equipped.
Yeah, they're more equipped. And there's even a choice, like being able to ask that question.
Yeah.
It's really hard to ask that question when you're in denial that wrong has even been done.
Yeah.
So I think even to ask the question about, okay, I've been stuck in this self-blame thing and I now realize that it wasn't my fault and this is a way that I learned to cope, etc. You now have a choice that you didn't have, which is, okay, you kind of inherited this belief, which you're now wanting to have some distance from. What do you want things to look like? How do you identify who safe people are? How do you have boundaries? How do you challenge yourself and say yes? How do you push yourself, if that's what you want, to forgive? These are questions that you are really hard to answer when there's this block of it didn't happen, or if it happened it was my fault, or it wasn't my fault but they didn't mean it, or they did mean it but it's because I provoked. It's just it's so hard to grow because we're not in reality yet. And I think uncovering self-compassion allows for choice, really, and growth. That's how I see it, I think.
I think just listening to you, I feel inspired, even though we do the same thing. But I feel inspired. And even just from the other side, I think it's like a moment of acknowledgement for me of the hard work that we do. The
do you know what? Saying it out loud, I'm like, wow.
I know. Very uncomfortable conversation. You just do it. But I do remember at the beginning of my training I remember realizing that I'm conflict avoidant.
Oh my gosh, me too. Me too, which is such a trope for therapists, right? We're sitting here encouraging people to face the deepest, darkest, depending on what type of therapy.
Yeah.
It's not always that intense necessarily, but basically getting people to like really face things.
Meeting resistance. Ooh. And still like, and almost like being willing to take it. Like being willing to take the resistance, to take the anger, knowing that you're just a representative. It's not personal. I remember.
So interesting.
I remember when I first realized I was conflict avoidant, I had a client for anger management.
Oh.
And I was at the beginning of my training. He could not have been more intimidating.
Oh no.
Intentionally clicking his fingers and
How did you deal with that? I start crying and leave the room. At my early stage, I just wouldn't be able to cope.
I had to just And you know what happened? As I kept showing up and trying to do the work. And also some of the I feel like he was testing me. Some of the examples that he was bringing up were like, oh, someone met me, or I was walking on the pavement, someone came towards me, and I just wanted to punch them in the face. He was giving intimidating examples that were making me think, if I make a step wrong here, I'm done. But as I just kept showing up, he kind of opened up and started sharing about lots of other things that he hadn't had the opportunity to share with other people, and it was really eye-opening. But I think, just this conversation is making me realize how much emotional, I always say, like, our tool is our emotions. How much emotional work we do in the aid of other people.
Honestly, as we're talking out loud, I'm like, wow, Zoe, that's a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, to conflict, although I'm getting better, we thank God.
Yeah.
But it's to think that actually every day we sit with it.
Yeah.
We invite it.
Yes.
We make space for it. We hold it.
We encourage it.
We face it. We tolerate it. We make it safe for people to have conflict with themselves.
And with other people.
And with other people, yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah.
Family.
Oh, no comment. Couples work is very interesting for compassion and anger and all these different things as well.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Okay. We are almost at the end of our conversation, which has been a great one.
Been lovely.
What would you say to those who really struggle with these concepts? Self-compassion, forgiveness, or those who feel that this does not apply to them?
Okay, so I think for people who struggle with it, maybe just taking time to reflect, like, what if I was to be compassionate to this other person or to myself, what would I lose? What is the risk? What do I fear would happen? And there's actually a scale, I can't remember it, and it goes through like the fears of compassion, like a list, and there's like it's like a Likert scale, and you put yourself on the scale, and that's really interesting just to self-reflect on. I think it's helpful to know why. That could be a first step to just understanding yourself. I think for people who think it's not relevant for them or they don't kind of connect to it, I find that quite interesting. I think I'm of the view that all human beings need compassion. I would be curious about that. I think I wonder if some people might not believe that compassion actually exists, and so there's a disconnect. It's not even like frustration, it's just an indifference to the idea because they just don't, it's like it's just this made up thing that isn't really real. And then people might have really good reasons for not believing it exists. There can be a lot of false compassion, and you might think compassion just means saying it's okay to everything that you do when it's not. Yeah. So I think it'd be interesting to know what people mean by it's. Yeah, if I was sitting in front of someone that said, this isn't really relevant for me, part of me might think, oh, maybe they're just really kind of compassionate, but I guess, and therefore they don't see the need to develop it. But I suppose if someone say they don't value compassion, like they don't see the need for it, I might assume that's because of difficulties with believing that it exists, perhaps. And I would take away the word compassion and maybe say, do you think it's important for suffering and pain to be acknowledged? What are the pros of acknowledging the existence of suffering? What are the cons of it? Because I think self-compassion is very brave. I think it takes courage. I think it takes wisdom, and it takes I think it takes guts. And so I think we're not always ready for that, and that's fine. Okay for it to be something you're just curious about and hopefully one day work towards or walk towards. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Okay. Thank you so much for coming today.
This has been so nice.
I know, right? And good to see you again.
It's so good to see you.
It's been ages.
Honestly. And it's my favourite topic ever, so yeah.
That's
One
good.
of them. Yeah.
Okay. So where can people find you?
So on Psychology Today.
Yes.
If you just type in my name, Zoe Onifade, I'll come up. And my Instagram is not really for
yes, private.
but yeah, so Psychology Psychology Today profile is probably
Yes.
the main place.
I'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, and anything else you want to plug as well?
Yeah. So we said earlier that, did we say on the pod that I sing?
Yes, we did, yeah.
No, okay, yeah. So I'm a singer, and I like singing about compassion, actually, about compassion that I've received, because I've definitely been a recipient of compassion. And there's an event from a group that I'm part of called Psalms and Saints. It's on the 8th of March, which is a Saturday. It's in a place called City Gates Church in Ilford, and we're going to be having basically a time of singing. It's a Christian event, time of singing a lot about this compassion, this topic, but about what it feels like to be on the other side of compassion, and pointing to who I believe is the most compassionate person in the world. So yeah, please join, and you can find tickets at Psalms times Saints on Instagram.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Yes. And thank you guys for tuning in as well. Take care and hopefully see you again soon.